So it's been an interesting 3 months, and I say that for many reasons. Reason number one being that Q3 was the beginning of the second half of the year, which would have required a different approach for myself, like Q1 and Q2, where I entered the year with a militant, ultra, super focused protocol state of mind. This time around, it was the reverse. It was me just, I guess, taking a break from that mind state and just giving attention to task and responsibility that I've allowed to be temporarily underserved. Like I said in my last Q2 video, where I said the habits and the character that I've developed in the first half of the year and will set the tone for the second half. It's only now that those habits and character are just starting to kick in, and I wanted to just reflect on what the last 3 months has been like, especially me taking a break from like a rigid mindset, and I wanted to just discuss on, I guess, like the ups and downs and any lessons that I've learned. So essentially, there will be 4 things I'm going to be discussing today, which are going to be my new self-image, productivity, which is going to have like subtopics as well, and my YouTube channel where I'm at with my YouTube, and then lastly discussing what I think the next or the last 3 months of this year is going to look like for them crossing over into the new year. So without wasting any more time, let's get into the video. So I think it was around the month of July where I took myself shopping, and I wanted to switch up my wardrobe. And the reason I gave in my shopping video was that I wanted to eliminate distractions, and most importantly, I wanted to prepare for the next 6 months of the year. And those reasoning that I gave were actually true, but if I'm being honest, those reasonings that I gave in my shopping video were the surface level reasoning, and the real driving force came from like a deeper intuition. Now, I can't remember the chain of thoughts that led me to that decision of me having to go shopping and the idea of me trying to limit the distraction, but it was coming from a voice or many voices in my head that I have outgrown my self-image. I have outgrown my old self, and one of the ways I can practically take action to resolve that was by going shopping, which I've not done in a very long time. And that's kind of what led me to actually going shopping. I remember there would be times where I would wake up, shower, start my day, dress up, and then after a while I just wouldn't feel myself. I wouldn't like what I'm wearing, even though there's nothing wrong with my clothes. It just carried like a low energy around it. I just didn't like how it felt. Now I've heard and I've come across statements like you need to dress for the part, dress for the opportunity, dress like how you want to be addressed. And I think unconsciously I've always done that. So by extension, I've never really paid attention to how I do dress, because naturally I kind of gravitate to like dressing for the role. So for example, I wouldn't wear a tracksuit to an office unless wearing a tracksuit involves, it's a part of my job. Like I wouldn't, if I was a football coach, for example, then yes, I'll wear a tracksuit, but I wouldn't wear a tracksuit to like to an office environment. So like I'm not silly. Like I've always known to dress for the role, but I've never like given my style a tweak, like attention to like tweak a little bit. And I've also managed to achieve what to me looks like success with with God and the universe, and also with hard work and discipline and tenacity, without having to alter my dressing and the way I look. Essentially, naturally, I've always dressed for the part. I've always dressed for the role. I think it was Jim Rohn who said it, and he said that whenever you are at the beach, then be at the beach. If you are at work, be at work. And I think extrapolating what he's trying to say and just applying it to what I'm just saying now is that if you're at work, then dress like you are at work. If you are going to the beach, then dress like you are going to the beach. But when you come across that statement multiple times, and it shows in different forms in conversation, and you start looking at people and you start admiring how they dress, it's like the universe or God trying to tell me something. And that's kind of what it's been like for me in the last 3 months. And I said it's the last 3 months, but that thought and that idea that I've outgrown my like self-image actually started, I think, around in the month of March. And it's only like in the last 3 months where I took a break from my goals that those voices and those thought pattern or those patterns became a bit more louder and a bit more clear, that I needed to do something about my self-image. So one of the many ways that I defaulted to resolving that was by going shopping. Now I also don't know if anyone else has felt like this or have ever felt like this, but I also feel like it's also coming from the fact that I'm also growing up as a person. I'm maturing in real life. People see me as I don't want to say a mentor figure, but people would approach me or come to me for advice, and I would be doing myself or doing a person a disservice if I'm not dressing the part to be in the environment so that I can be approached to help somebody else. So I think it's more of like a wake-up call for me, where I needed to know that I have, that my self-image needs to change, and also just simply because I've just outgrown my old self, and that's something that's always been at the back of my mind for about a few months now. Or this might even be because I don't know like who I'm becoming going forward, or I have an idea of who I'm becoming, but I don't know who this character is going forward, and I've never like been there before. And I think it's coming from the fact that I'm growing and I need to prepare for my next chapter. And also, when you meet new people as well, no one like knows anything about you, and the only way they can know something about you without you having to speak is by your appearance. Now, I've always resonated with the idea that you shouldn't care about what people think of you, or how people visualize you. But I've just felt like over the last 3 months that if I'm going to work on myself and improve myself, I needed to make sure that I'm not just focusing on like my diet and my health. I need to make sure that I'm also covering all areas of my life as well, which is in this case with my self-image. So this is something I'm going to take into consideration. There are other action plans that I've taken as well that I'm currently doing to improve my self-image, or to prepare for my next age, and which I'm going to discuss later on in this video as well. But the point is that I'm taking action, and I'm aware of like my self-image is changing, and that I've outgrown my old self, and I'm taking action to curate what that image is. Even though this mindset only just kicked in recently, I have been dabbling into different ways of dressing. Like there'll be times where I just wear a blazer, which is like out of my comfort zone, but I'm getting used to it. But anyways, the point is this: my self-image is changing. I've outgrown my old self. I'm gonna keep growing. I'm also maturing a lot, and one of the many ways that I've practically taken action is by going shopping. And I'm going to discuss later on in this video of the other ways that I'm also naturally just like preparing and optimizing my self-image. So that's the first thing I want to discuss, that my first image is changing. Now, the second thing that I want to discuss in this video is my productivity, and how I have been productive, and how I plan to be productive in the next 3 months. I'm also going to use this as an opportunity to also touch on other topics that I feel like it falls under productivity. So I want to give an update on like where I'm at with my diet, my gym routine, in the Bible, and all the personal growth and observations around me. So the first one is productivity. Essentially, I have noticed that over the years I've been a pen to paper kind of person. So I always write my goals on a book. I always have a book with me. I've always had a book for as long as I can remember. There's this thing I read in school where I read like a contact diary, where your teachers and your parents would like write things in your book, and that's what I'm used to. The one issue that I've always had with a contact diary, or to this day and age is like a diary, is that once you write your to-do list, or you write what you're doing today, and you've ticked a few goals during the day as well, once you flick over that page, you're not going to look back over the previous page unless you've missed something. And I've found that is not very productive, and it's just not my way of working anymore. I still have my book that I still make notes here and there, but I guess the point I'm trying to say is that I've moved away from like a pen to book kind of format, and I'm now moving things a bit more digital, and I've now incorporated Notion into my day-to-day life to make things a bit more organized and make me a bit more productive, and so that I can just operate efficiently. Notion is like, and I've always been aware of Notion, but I've just never like given Notion a chance, or just give some time to learn how to use it. But over the since August actually, I've basically tailored it to my approach, and currently I just have a lot of things going on. When I say a lot of things going on, I mean like positive things, like a lot of projects around me, and the only way that I can keep on top of everything and have like an overview of everything is by using Notion. And Notion is like your Asana, your Excel sheet, your Word documents, but on steroids. It's just much better than anything else that I've seen. There is no better time to start using Notion than now, where I just have so many things going on. I guess the only way for me to make sure that I have like an overview of what I'm doing, it needs to be in one place. And for me, Notion serves that for me. So I'm going to be using Notion, which I have been doing from the month of August, but I'm going to be using Notion for the last 3 months of the year as well, and seeing what that looks like for me. Hopefully it fulfills what I needed to fulfill, because I have tried other project management softwares which have not really worked. And with Notion, you do have like a free version, and I think for me anyways that free version has been enough, and it's still enough for me. Although I've been using Notion since August, from August to now, it looks as though I've achieved so much. It looks as though I've done a lot of stuff, and I can only imagine how much stuff I'm going to achieve over the next 3 months, and also next year as well. If I do stick with Notion, I can only imagine how much stuff I'm going to achieve, because Notion does allow you to have an overview of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, especially if you are consistently engaging with your goals and targets. So essentially, yes, I've moved away from a pen to paper kind of structure, and I'm going to be progressing with using Notion. I'm going to also use it to monitor my goals and just keep up to date with myself as well, and also keep me accountable for all the goals and agendas that I've planned for myself over the next 3 months. The second thing that I wanted to touch on under productivity is my diet. Now, like my first and second reflection videos, where I talked about how I wanted to optimize my diet. I wanted to give my diet, I wanted to focus on my diet, because it's an area of my life that I've just given little attention to. I felt like I've kind of done that really well. Now, I will admit, I have had a few cheat meals here and there. I've had the pizzas, I've had the KFCs, I've had a few junk meals, but for the most part, I've been consistent, and I've been committed to eating really clean. The change in the last 3 months is that I've now switched away from a ketogenic diet to a carnivore diet, which is basically just eating meat, egg, and fruit. So I've not done any research into a carnivore diet, but I have made note of observations about myself and how I feel after I've eaten a carnivore diet. And one of the things that I've noticed is that I don't feel tired after I've eaten a carnivore diet. And also, most days I find myself just eating once a day, and I'm fine with that. And I don't find myself having to nibble into snacks. If anything, I find myself withdrawing myself from eating junk food. And when I do eat junk food, I feel like rubbish. I feel sick. There'll be times where I would eat junk meal, and the following morning I would wake up with a bellyache. But with a carnivore diet, I would wake up and I would start my day. And this is kind of why I wanted to discuss this under productivity, because once I've had a junk meal during the day, and I wake up the following day, I want to just get up, start my day, and work. But then with a carnivore diet, with a junk meal, I can't do that, because I would get a bellyache and have to go to the toilet, and that's kind of refresh myself and get into a certain mood before I can then start my day. But with the carnivore diet, once I've eaten a carnivore diet, I just start my day. I don't feel a type of way, and I feel a lot better than eating a junk meal or anything that's unclean. But that's my main observation. That's gonna be, I guess, for the next 3 months, I'm gonna be sticking to a carnivore diet, and I'm gonna be updating my channel, or this channel, pretty much on what that's been like. But like I said, I've not done any research into a carnivore diet. But the only thing I've noticed is that I don't feel tired, and most days I just eat 1 meal or sometimes 2 meals, and I am okay. Though I have switched away from a ketogenic diet as well, and I'm now switching into a carnivore diet, I'm actually really enjoying the habit of switching diet, and I think I'm going to keep doing that over the next 6 to 12 months as well, because if you think about it really well, there are certain food that should not be available in certain seasons, but we have this food in those seasons. And again, I don't know because I haven't really done my research, but essentially I'm just eating certain food in certain seasons, and I'm eating other food in certain seasons, and I feel like at the moment I enjoy what I'm doing. So I think I need to do a bit more research into diets. That's kind of the little update on my diet, is that I've switched away from a ketogenic diet and I'm enjoying a carnivore diet, and those are my observations, which is that I feel I'm less tired, and if anything I'm a bit more sharper in the morning, and I just like the thought and the feeling that comes with eating really clean going forward. Now, the second subtask that I wanted to discuss is my gym routine. Now, at the start of the year, I discussed about bringing gym into my routine, which I have done, and it's been a love and hate relationship. But the update is that I now have a strict, to be fair, the first thing is that I prefer being in the gym on the weekends. I've come to that conclusion. I prefer being in the gym on the weekends. Obviously, that might change if I'm in a different city, if I'm in a different country or in a different state. That will change. But for now, I like the thought of being in the gym in the weekends. For me, it gives me, Monday to Friday to just work on what I need to work on, whether it's a project, work, whatever, and then the weekend I just get to be in the gym. Now, it's not to say that this won't change, but the idea is that it is my default ways of working. Whilst I'm still like in my career stage where I'm still working on myself. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that I'm currently at a stage in my career where I'm working like Monday to Friday, and which is like there's nothing else I should be doing than not working. And then if I want to bring like a physical and exercise activity into my life, then I need to also like create like a default days for it. So if you have Monday to Friday where it's for work, then I kind of need to have like either hours or a dedicated day for physical health. I'm at dedicated days for my health, and making sure that I'm physically active is a Saturday and Sunday. That's me. Many ways to come across. But yeah, so those are like the days that I want to be in the gym. And also like I'm not trying to be Johnny Bravo or anything. I'm going to be productive and trying to make sure that I'm looking after my mental health as well. So but yeah, and also I found a structure that works for me, and my structure basically go to the gym, obviously, but the structure in the gym is I start off with just like stretches for about 30 to 45 minutes, and then I do like cardio for about 20 minutes. Now I can do 20 minutes, and then what else do I do? And I do step masters for about 10 minutes, and then I do a lot of like calisthenic exercises, which is pretty much using your own weight. So that's been like my structure, and it's going to be the same structure I'm going to be following for the next 3 months as well until the new year. And I'm enjoying it. It's been really cool. It's been really challenging, but I'm enjoying that ways of working. And if, for example, I'm on holiday or I'm in a different country than a different state, then yes, I will go to the gym more than the 2 days a week. But for now, that's a structure, that's a flat structure that I like. I'm going to be sticking to, and I think it allows me to just make sure that anything else isn't underserved. So I can give time to work, give time to family, give time to friendship, give time to like myself as well. But yeah, that's the update I wanted to give on like where I'm at with. So now the fourth sub topic that I wanted to touch on is, which kind of ties to the number one point of like my new self-image, is that I've been noticing myself noticing other people a lot more. That sounds weird. I've been noticing myself studying other people, and it is that lately I've just found myself just re-watching films and TV shows that may have inspired me. I found myself watching like great people who have lived and left a legacy in life. I find myself like even like my close friends that have a committed relationship, I'm observing them a little bit more. I'm looking at how they're doing things and how they're tweaking things and how they are communicating with their girlfriends. I'm looking at my female friends. I'm looking at how the ones that have kids in a way. I'm looking at how they're nurturing their kids, and I'm looking at, I guess I'm collecting data to like curate my next chapter and the kind of like things that I want for myself as well. Like I find myself watching TV shows that has great characters, and I'm studying those characters, and I know those characters are obviously fictional, but those characters to a degree does inspire people. And for me, some of those characters does inspire me, like things like, I don't know, I can't think of one, but the point is I've been finding myself just watching other people, and even people that have passed on, like Michael Jackson, and I've just taken a lot of like learning from them. And even lately I would watch family vlogs, and like I don't have kids yet, but one day I want to be able to have kids, but I would find myself watching like family vlogs. I'm seeing how other families are, and people in leadership roles, and all the good features in other people. I've just found myself watching like great people and just learning from them from a distance, and just trying to like curate that into my own life. And that's just to say that, again, tying this back to that point number one, but is that I have outgrown my old self, and this is like the many ways that I'm trying to do it at the same time. And this is something that I didn't really plan to happen, but this has just happened naturally. And it is that I've just found myself just I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's I've just found myself just watching other people, from like even people on TV, like I'm watching them and I'm studying them. It's also like giving me an insight into the kind of person that I want to be like as well. And I feel like although this is just a phase that I've just started, I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. I do feel like it's going to be a phase over the next 3 months as well, of me just consistently just taking notes and observing other people and how they behave and how they do things. There's people I'm also very conscious of, you know, like people on TV, because not everyone is who they say they are, and so I'm just like making sure that I'm not, following the wrong path. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about is where I'm at with my Bible, and to summarize the start of the year, I wanted to read the book of Genesis, which I did start, and I think I stopped at Genesis chapter 2, chapter 3, and then I couldn't get into it anymore. And then someone recommended I should start reading the book of John, same thing, and spoke to my mom about it as well, and she said just start reading the book of Psalms, which I kind of have been doing now. I said kind of, to be fair, I've been doing that every morning, and with the book of Psalms, for me, it felt like it's fulfilling what I really wanted. It's fulfilling a meditative, affirmative, it's bringing me closer to something. It's bringing me closer to God. I feel like I don't want to say I've distanced myself from God. I just feel like I needed to get closer to God in a different way. And the book of Psalms to me is like a way of just like speaking to God, and I guess trying to understand myself as well. Still very early into it, but it's going to be a book that I'm going to just stick to for the next 3 months. I'm just going to study it as my main book going forward. But yeah, that's all that I want to discuss on the productivity and where I'm at with life in general. The third thing that I want to discuss is my YouTube channel, and I want to say I'm really proud of myself with how far I've come with my YouTube channel. I've gone from thinking of starting a YouTube channel to getting cameras and I think I have about 10 videos on this channel now, and at this recording video I have about 65 subscribers, which if you're watching this video, thank you very much for subscribing. But I didn't start off this year with I wanted this amount of subscribers. I just started off the year with I wanted to start a YouTube channel, and it's something that has been in my mind for a very long time, but I've just never had the courage, or I didn't think I had any value to give back to anyone. And also I don't have a niche. I'm still trying to find my path and find my niche as well. So I'm proud of my YouTube channel. I feel like over the next 3 months then there is going to be a lot more videos that I'm going to put out there. As much as I'm going to be focused, I'm going to be preparing for the new year as well. I do have a lot of stuff that I want to get involved in the next 3 months. I'm going to try and record and just put it on my YouTube channel as well. And I want to say, to anyone that has subscribed, I want to say thank you very much for just subscribing, because it does mean a lot to me. And behind the scene, I'm also doing a lot to get better, and I'm doing a lot to prepare for the next year as well, so that I can actually have a lot more content on here as well. Also, like I said in my Q2 video, I'm making sure that I'm not trying to bombard my channel with just random videos. I've just been focused on just trying to experiment with different types of videos and just making sure that I find my ground, I find my style. But for now, this is me showing my niche. So for now, this is where I'm at with my YouTube channel. I'm enjoying it, and I feel like the next 3 months there's going to be a lot more videos till December. Now, this ties nicely to my last point, which is what I think the next 3 months is going to look like for me. To summarize, I think the next 3 months is just going to be me just getting back on my feet. I think, from October to December, a lot of people just let their hair down. But for me, it's a time to now get back into like a swing of things again before starting the new year. There's going to be a lot of planning for the new year. I have an idea of what I'm going to be doing going forward next year. There's a lot of goals that I've allowed to be underserved because I wanted to prioritize my health as much as possible this year, which I feel like I have done, to be honest with you. My YouTube channel will stay the same. I'm going to be using YouTube next year as much as possible. I'm going to be uploading a lot more videos as much as possible. I also have an idea of what I want to focus my channel on next year going forward. I still don't have a niche, so there's going to be a lot of experimenting, but it's going to be experimenting with probably collaborations with people, and I'm going to also focus on growth next year. So although I didn't put out a goal this year for my YouTube channel of how many subscribers I wanted, how many watch hours I wanted by the end of the year, there's going to be a lot of that going forward. It's going to be me just actually measuring those numbers and putting a system in place to make sure that I'm achieving a certain numbers and I'm achieving a certain goal. As for like my health will always be a priority next year. I'm not going to leave my health to be underserved. So a lot of my diet is going to be, I'm going to be strict on my diet. I'm going to be strict on how I dress. I do feel like, the self-image thing that I mentioned earlier on is going to be a big factor next year. I just need to make sure that I'm preparing for the unknown. But to summarize, next year, the next 3 months is going to be me just putting my head down again and just focusing for the next 3 months. Do I see myself traveling? I'm not too sure yet. But if I am traveling, then it just gives me more time to just, I guess, create more content. But yeah, it's going to be a lot more focus next year. But most importantly, there's going to be a lot of planning for the next year, 2025, over the next 3 months. And but yeah, to say all that, I want to say if you have reached or if you have made to this part of the video, I want to say thank you very much. And I appreciate each and every one subscribing.
Greatness will take time, so no rush. I will wait for my time. I can never relent till I die. But I know one more chance come around one time and change story of my life.